Football OB 413 stroke 114 edited.
Blind floodlights at Old Trafford for today's First Division game between Manchester United, anxious to prove again that they can win league games, and Newcastle United, anxious to prove that last week's cup game at Hereford was just one of those things. Good news for Manchester fans is that Willie Morgan, who's had flu, has been past fit, but presumably if he does suffer any reaction, United might take a gamble on bringing on substitute John Aston and hoping to escape injuries thereafter. And this match takes the ironic story of Alan Gowling a stage further. Earlier in the season, when he was in danger of losing his place as a striker, he suddenly blossomed as a midfield player. Now United decide to do without him in midfield because they need him as a striker. Well, he got 2 goals against Preston last Saturday, and that's what they'll be hoping from him today. Newcastle make 2 changes from the side beaten at Hereford, bringing in Stuart Barraclough at number 7 and Tony Gibb at number 4. Gibb hasn't played a full match in the first team since October. And I think everybody will be glad to see Bobby Moncur back in the side. He's had a long uphill struggle for fitness since the end of last season, and his comeback last Saturday was only his 7th game of the season. Mr. Sinclair's 10-penny piece has come down in favour of Newcastle. The teams have changed ends, and so as the teams prepare to kick off, he's just wanting Dennis Law back on the right side of his line. It's Manchester United in the white shorts who kick off. Ryan Kidd finding George Best. Bobby Charlton in space, with Gowling just ahead of him. Well, it was worth having a pop, but it wasn't as accurate as Bobby usually likes him to be. Ian McFall with a long journey back from the Stretford end for the ball. And now a first kick of the ball for Ian McFall, who is in the Northern Ireland squad for the match against Spain next Wednesday, which would give him his 5th cap. Man who's suffered from playing in the shadow of Jennings of Spurs. Howard's header, hustled by Gowling, and he had no support, so opted for the throw. Kidd is going to take it. Law is deep at the back of the box. Charlton is running to meet this. And Kidd goes for Gowling's head, and Gowling wins it too, with 2 men to challenge him. Steve James, a long run across to cover by the far touchline. Well kept in by Charlton. This is Tony Green, the former Blackpool player, dispossessed. Morgan to Best, and Law takes it on. Best going out left. Turn back wasn't right into the path of Law, but it's all United at this stage. Two minutes gone, and this is the first time Newcastle have been out of their own half. Green looking for Tudor out there on the left, and O'Neill and Sadler get it back to Step. O'Neill to Charlton. It was meant for Willie Morgan. Skidded a little bit too quickly. Now Hibbett. Nice little switch inside, but pushed the ball too far. Charlton. And a good run down the left by Clark. broken up and United away again. Law to Kidd. Kidd beating Gibb, and a good break by Burns. Gowling, with Howard challenging him, sticking out a thigh for Gowling to go over. And Mr. Sinclair is going to book him for it. It certainly looked a pretty late tackle. I just wondered whether that early in the match he might give him the benefit of the doubt. But certainly players have been booked for that kind of tackle this season, and Howard can have no complaint. Malcolm Musgrave doing his stuff for Alan Gowling. Bobby Charlton, the only man who's really had a shot at goal so far. And Tony Green, the former Blackpool player, who's now settling down in this Newcastle side. It's just over 3 months since he was signed. Gowling trots into the middle. Number 3 there is Francis Burns to take the free kick. A lot of men forward for Manchester United. Everybody but McDonald back for Newcastle. Big jump by Law. Goal kick. Fall was shaping to play that square to Clark and then changed his mind. So that's Manchester United's throw for O'Neill to take. 4 men ahead of Brian Kidd now. Best. Burns. And that's a whistle for offside. No, he's given handball. The linesman standing with his flag up and coming onto the pitch. And he's now given the free kick to Manchester United for handball. Francis Burns is a little bit surprised by that. I thought that his shot was blocked simply by a defender's legs. There you are. Lifted by Kidd. Law! Good punch by McFall. Back in by Best. And off the line by Moncur. And away eventually by Craig, but the whistle had gone before that. Alan Gowling is down on his face, injured in the collision when McFall came out for the punch. Everybody watching the ball after Lord scooped it up. And I suspect that Alan Gowling must have caught a flying arm or elbow as they all went up for that ball. So with Gowling back on his feet, it's McFall to take the free kick for Newcastle. Morgan. Green winning it to Hibbett. Tudor. Just touched away from Gibb by Morgan. Best. Gowling ahead of him. Law going forward too. Bobby Charlton free wide out on the left. That was a glorious ball from Best. Tony Green sold completely by Charlton. And laid back now for Morgan. And a good save by McFall. It would have counted. There was no flag for offside, although the defence were all moving out fast. Gibb. Green. Charlton to Best. Just 2 strikers up front now. Gowling and Law, and here's Burns. For Gowling. Nobody challenging in midfield for Manchester United. They were either forward or back, nobody in the middle, but McDonald has wasted the ball. Morgan. Burns. Law. And Best. They didn't buy the dummy when he cocked his foot. Charlton. Bobby Charlton with the right foot that time, bringing out the best from Ian McFall. Sadler is number 6 there, and this is George Best with the corner. May well swing it in under the bar there. He's pushed it deep for Gowling or Law. Neither of them could make it. In fact, I suspect they got in each other's way. Hibbett for Newcastle. Good running by MacDonald. He was onside, and he's got to go for the lob. But that was a classic example of the value of Malcolm MacDonald on the break. He timed his run perfectly. He was well onside, well clear of Steve James behind him, and then accelerated past him while the ball was in the air. Saw Stepney come off his line, couldn't control the lob. Good goalkeeping by Stepney that made MacDonald hurry his attempt. That'll be a corner off Kidd. Hibbett, and a good catch by Stepney under pressure from MacDonald. MacDonald still there with him. It's an error by Howard. Both sides had chances to take advantage there, and in trying to play the quick pass, played them inaccurately. Moncur. Hibbett with Gibb moving forward. Run off it rather easily by Kidd. Looked to the referee for support that he didn't get. Charlton now with Law free on the right and Best here on the left. And he's got his shot away. Ian McFall's heart must have missed a beat there, because Best looked as though he was just intent on tormenting Craig, and he unleashed that shot absolutely without warning. Didn't seem to set himself at all, and McFall was a bit slow going down. Simply caught unprepared, I think. Law to Best. Manchester United's appeals for a foul turned down. Hibbett. MacDonald. Craig. A little less than 10 minutes to go to half-time, and neither of these sides so far showing that they've completely overcome their neuroses from recent games. Little chip forward from Green there that was absolute perfection. What a goal! Tudor! What a superb goal! Tudor putting it in from Barraclough, all started by Tony Green. from this throw. Now look at this little chip that Green plays here. Absolute perfection for Barraclough. First time cross, and Tudor on the half volley. 1-0 then to Newcastle, and 8 minutes to go to half-time. Well, that certainly was a goal to be proud of. Best to Morgan. O'Neill. Fell well for Morgan, and he used it well for Charlton. Kidd tucking it back for Best. This is dangerous, and he couldn't keep control. Green to Hibbett. McDonald dangerously free on the left. Tudor now. McDonald calling for the long, deep one. And it could yet come to him. James's head is there. Morgan. Law to Best. United stung by that goal. Tony Green. Barraclough. Donald. And a free kick given for some infringement by McDonald that mystifies him as much as it does me. But the referee very close to the incident. Morgan. Kidd, having made a good break, couldn't then keep the ball in. Burns is in the wrong place if he wants to take the throw, but Kidd takes it. Sadler. Craig able to let it run. David Sadler trying to wrong foot the Newcastle defence with a quick ball down the line. But it was too strong. McDonald for Tudor to chase. Sadler needs to win this one. He's jockeyed him out to the line. Going to be a McDonald special. And the referee's going across to have a word with him about time wasting. Beautiful long throw, and Howard was there, and it's got away by O'Neill. Bobby Charlton. Best in midfield, Dennis Law way up front. Couldn't hold off Craig, who'd gone across there to cover. Morgan. Gowling. Burns coming round. And Kidd launched himself, but the ball didn't meet his head. It's a nice bit of play by Hibbett. Green, and this could be useful for Newcastle. Green slowed it down a bit. Barraclough. McDonald. It's too far for Gibb. Gibb quite a useful wing half, but not pacey enough for that sort of pass. And Mr. Sinclair calls time for the first half of a game in which a number of individuals have entertained us in little flashes, but it was John Tudor putting an end to the one really fine bit of concerted football that we've seen so far that has produced the only goal. Newcastle going in, I'd say, with a deserved lead at half-time. The scoreline at Old Trafford, Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 1.
The next match at Old Trafford is this coming Wednesday, when United reserves meet very reserves. This match is being brought forward from the 1st of April, and due to the ban of co-lighting, the match will kick off at 2 p.m. No token will be issued in the programme. On Saturday next, we play Leeds United at Ellen Road. Admission will be by ticket only. Standing tickets priced at £35 and £40 will be available from the ticket office on Monday and Tuesday between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. After which any unsold tickets will be returned to Leeds. There are no seats available for this match. Admission to the forthcoming FA Cup tie versus Middlesbrough will be by ticket only. And the full details can be found on page 7.
Do we know how long they want?
Copies of the announcement can also be
Okay.
seen at the ticket office windows on the Leeds blog.
So Manchester United 1-0 down as we restart the game. Newcastle halfway to avenging their defeat at St James's Park in October, when Manchester United won 1-0 with a goal by George Best. Tony Green. Best with Morgan on the right, Gowling on the left, and Dennis Law through the middle. Hardly the best of best. Charlton. Up and under, which Moncur deals with. Charlton again. Morgan. Hibbett blocks it. And it's a Newcastle throw. Clark. Over the head of James, but McDonald really didn't believe it was going to happen. And he tripped James, and that's a free kick to Manchester United. United fans will no doubt console themselves with the fact that it was late in the game against Preston that they came through. And that was a good catch by McFall. McDonald. One for Law to chase. Clark is equal to the challenge. Morgan to Charlton. Best and Charlton colliding with each other. Barraclough. Good tackle by Charlton. Best. Tripped by Barraclough, and he'll be booked. Well, Barraclough grins, but he was clearly in the wrong there. He'd been beaten by Best. Best was on his way towards goal, and Barraclough just hooked him back. So that's two Newcastle players officially cautioned. George Best back on his feet. 5-man wall. And Kidd for Charlton. Burns. It looks as though they've wasted it. Oh, Newcastle caught flat-footed there. Nobody wanting to move in and take charge. Good play by Green. Barraclough. Hibbett. Good interception by Kidd. Morgan for Bobby Charlton. Law. Burns. 4 men to cross to. Gowling! Against the post, that really was bad luck. Dennis Law holding his ankle, but the cross was too high for Law. Gowling met it beautifully and beat McFall, but couldn't beat the post. Mr. Sinclair, no sympathy for casualties. O'Neill. Charlton to Gowling. That was a nice header, touched away from O'Neill by Moncur. Even when Manchester United looked like getting things right, they just seemed to get a 6 inches long run of the ball. They're in one of these spells when I suspect the harder they try, the worse it gets. Charlton to Law at the near post. Green. It's all working for Newcastle in contrast. Barraclough on the line. Green again. Tudor now going through the middle. McDonald coming through in the gap behind, but Best saw the danger. And now it's 4 against 4. Charlton. Manchester United really need to use it quickly. Charlton looking for a gap to shoot, but Clark did a good job there. Burns. Gowling. And somehow Newcastle muddled it away. Barraclough. McDonald caught behind after he'd left that ball go, and now this is Barraclough away. Good save by Stepney. Barraclough was very close to his second goal, to the second goal for Newcastle then, having made the first. Morgan. And that was Hibbett back yet again covering for Newcastle, complaining that he was pushed. Four corners in 6 minutes for Manchester United, about as much pressure as they have had in the whole game. McFall a hand to it. Appeal for handball not given, and it was McDonald who cleared, and who now goes down clutching his thigh. Tudor, also in a certain amount of distress. No, he's all right. The spray doing its work on McDonald's ankle. Paddy Crerand, now in charge of Manchester United's juniors, presumably not finding any inspiring examples among their seniors today. So players restarted. Kidd, James, Gowling. Just from time to time, Manchester United contrive some numerical advantage for themselves, and yet still can't really catch Newcastle off balance. Clark's high ball, James's header for Manchester, Kidd, Morgan, and a chance for O'Neill to control the ball. Burns. Both fullbacks well forward now. Off Charlton's head for a goal kick. Not much to stop them skidding when they hit the top there. Minutes left now, and Newcastle holding on to this precious lead of theirs. Gibb to Barraclough, intercepted by Best. And how he got that away, only Best knows. That's the authentic George Best. Down well by Sadler for Charlton. Willie Morgan calling on the right. Immediately, as Clark backpedals away, Tudor covers. Tudor wasn't needed. Hibbett. Green. Donald in the middle. Barraclough alarmingly free on the far side. Coming in now. Great goal. Again, made by Tony Green, this time scored by Barraclough. And United are now deep in trouble. Here it comes from Green, all the while just out of that shot. Barraclough has been waiting, and he steamed in and gave Stepney no chance at all. United completely unaware there, and now 2 goals down to Newcastle. Two very well manufactured goals. And Newcastle, good value for their lead. Law climbing on Moncur's shoulders. Moncur was leaning back into him. A few defenders more adept at making life difficult for forwards who like to jump for the high balls than Bobby Moncur. Howard's header. Hibbett back, grafting away again. Neil, a good header for Willie Morgan. Law down for Gowling. And out here at Charlton. Law missing the overhead. Really would have been spectacular if he'd made it. Gibb. Barraclough. and he can be forgiven an odd lapse. Kidd. Hibbett riding his luck and squeezing it through to Tudor. McDonald, Barraclough with no challenge, time to set himself for the cross, and in comes Tudor, forcing Stepney into a hasty punch. Green again being useful. The whistle had gone. Hibbett is pulling himself to his feet and limping a bit, but back in action. Burns, Morgan laying it off back to him. Howard not even needing to take the easy way out of a corner. Kidd. Gowling, Burns. Law! And a great save by McFall. That was good goalkeeping. He was moving all the while to cover Law, and although he had no time really to get his hands round the ball, he had his body fully behind it and blocking every inch of space that Law could see by the near post. Sadler, 15 minutes to go. Howard's header away. Everybody except Stepney in the Newcastle half now. Burns into the middle for Law. Steve James staying up there as an extra attacker. Tudor glad to hook it into the crowd, and there's trouble here between Law and Moncur and Hibbett. The linesman spotted it when it first occurred and flagged. And the referee wanting Law out of the middle of it, and there's still trouble there. I think Hibbett is involved in this too. And Mr. Sinclair is going to have words with his linesman to see what the linesman spotted. Going to have a word with Law anyway. And I think Hibbett is going to be involved in this too. Yes, I think he's been one of the principal figures. Somebody else as well. The other player is Gibb. Yes. Stern talking, but no bookings. Tudor. Green just got it out to Barraclough, and here come Newcastle again. Saw Stepney off his line. I think he was trying for the lob. Didn't hit it very well at all. Law fouled by Clark. Explaining to the linesman what had happened. Gowling's header, and a good one too. O'Neill. Morgan. Donald getting back and giving away the corner. And now Newcastle want to bring on a substitute. Irving Natras is coming on, so the corner will have to wait for a moment. And Stuart Barraclough has gone off. The corner has been taken. Newcastle have got it away. Natras, who scored the second goal, having done a very good job, replaced by another teenager, Irving Natras. Gowling's cross, headed away by Moncur. Charlton for O'Neill. Shooting practice, and McFall behind it without any difficulty. So 5 minutes left. Kidd getting away from Green for once and playing a good cross. Law to Burns, and again in the goalkeeper's arms. Ibbett, Tudor, intercepted by James. Natras, who's fresh, willing to chase, but not able to keep the ball in play. Whistles and boos from the crowd, but it's all formality now. Mr. Sinclair's had a look at his watch. He's in fact got it in his hand. And that will do. Newcastle United have won their first league game at Old Trafford for 21 seasons and won it deservedly. Tony Green coming off there, who has had a big hand in both the goals, set up the first one through Barraclough for Tudor, and then set up the second one for Barraclough to score. Newcastle on the day have outplayed Manchester United, and this long run now of 8 games stretching back over 2 months since Manchester United last won a league match extends to really worrying proportions, and surely now can't be written off anymore as just one of those bad spells that affects any side. They've been beaten here and thoroughly beaten by Newcastle with this final scoreline: Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 2. Well, from the comments that I've heard on my way down from our platform up above, the Manchester United supporters have no illusions at all about the problems here, and I'm sure that the players themselves and the club staff haven't either. So there's no need to dwell too long on the need now for Manchester United to do something to pull themselves back, to re-establish the challenge of a season that began so promisingly for them and now threatens to fall apart in their hands. Anyway, that's our not very happy story from Old Trafford. We can now go over the Pennines to see how Liverpool got on at Huddersfield. Our pictures there come from Yorkshire Television, and the commentator is Keith Macklin.
And Smith's tackle a little too fierce and enthusiastic for Mr. Morris's liking. Smith, Dolan, steadied that well for Chris Wickie. Oh, and a bad one by Chris Wickie. Lawson back for Smith towards Worthington. Lawson! Oh, he hit the bar! That hit the angle of effort by Lawson. Spear can break, but Lloyd in on the tackle. Smith couldn't control it. Callahan. Clark. Hooking it well away from Toshak. And a good clearance. Lindsay underneath it. Now Huddersfield with Smith again. Chris Wickie racing. Chris Wickie's got the legs. Two men in the middle, Worthington and Lawson. There's a cross and straight to Clements, a wasted chance. Chris Wickie put that straight to the goalkeeper. Lawler for Liverpool. Hughes. Graham. Lawler. Callahan and Keegan there. Keegan takes it. Toshak. Hustled off it. Manages to get it back to Keegan. Callahan is on the touchline. Fine cross of the ball, Callahan. Alf Ramsey rates him one of the best. Good cross. Graham. Graham again. Whittam and Lawson. Whittam hurt his back then. Lawson made the catch. And Smith a back pass. An odd variety of back pass, but it made it. Elam trying to get up. Cherry and Graham. Liverpool in search of a goal. Bobby Graham, square to Keegan, but to Hutt. Lloyd missing his kick. Smith again having to go in on Lawson, but Lawson gets it out to Chris Wickie. Chris Wickie round and over Lindsay. Oh, what a save! What a save and what a superb effort by Stephen Smith. Two magnificent efforts. Stephen Smith took that in mid-air, an overhead kick, and Clements a magnificent save. Both these men did brilliantly then. Smith and Clements. A corner. Elam trying to get up. Lloyd there. Callahan. Hughes finally getting it back to Lindsay. Clark. One wonders whether Bill Shankly will bring on Steve Highway as sub to put more speed into his attack. Try to outflank Huddersfield. Hughes with the throw. Hughes, Graham, Lawler up with Callahan, Toshak. Keegan's moved into the middle, headed away by Cherry. Lawler waiting for it. Smith also there. Smith getting it from Chapman. Toshak's on the outside, but Smith sold him short then. But it's coming out to Lawler. Callahan. For Lindsay. Liverpool now really putting the pressure on all Huddersfield defenders back. Liverpool calling the tune. Callahan. Keegan. Keegan will just get to it. Lawson, a diving save. Worthington finding Dolan, but Callahan roaring in. Graham, Dolan a little too deliberate. Now Graham for Liverpool. Again moving into the again going outside Clark, again making it, and the legs of Dolan getting there. Smith misjudging that, Lawson chasing him. It's Liverpool who appear to have this game by the scruff of the neck at the moment. They haven't scored, but they've looked more dangerous these last 10 minutes. Ellam finding Whittam inadvertently. Now Keegan. Again, Liverpool have men in the middle. Ellam waiting underneath it, coming out to Whittam. A chance for a shot. Another chance. A second chance. A goal. Whittam the scorer. There's the goal. Whittam had 2 bites at that particular cherry. The first one rebounded, the second one in off the post. 27 minutes of the second half gone. Jack Whittam restored to the side to put punch into the attack, does just that. And with his second shot in consecutive seconds, goes in off the post.
So at least Liverpool, after their unhappy cup defeat by Leeds, refined their form in the league, beating Huddersfield there by 1-0. The pictures came from Yorkshire Television. The commentator was Keith Macklin and the director Jeff Hall. We'll be out again next weekend looking for more goals, more action, and perhaps a happier story than we've been able to tell you today. For now, I'll say until next Sunday at 1:55, goodbye.